What a great international group we've got. Okay, thank you very much for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you are. Let's make sure you get a lot of value from this session. Okay, so today we are going to talk about 4 ways to get clients. Let's be real. Getting clients is a seriously important thing to do, and we're going to talk about 4 very tactical ways to get really high quality clients. So when you're going into the year ahead, you want to be thinking about, how do I get lots and lots of people who are signaling interest? How do I collect enough data that I can decide in advance whether I should spend a lot of time winning this client or not? And that's really what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to really cover 4 ways to do that. Now, before we get into that, just quickly, if I've not met you before, I'm Daniel Priestley, co-founder of ScoreApp. Over the last 20 years, I've run 7 different startups that got a very fast start each. All 7 of them went from 0 to 1 million in the first 12 months. I've been involved in through an accelerator program, working with 4,500 companies that have gone through accelerated fast growth. So a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what I've been involved in the last 20 years is really that scale up growth journey, that really fast double-digit growth at least. I suppose I spend a lot of time thinking about that whole customer acquisition, client acquisition journey and how to really maximize that. So I want to share with you some of the key lessons that we've learned from there. Before we get tactical, what I would love to do is talk a big picture and just set the scene. And here's what I want to start with. I want to start with this idea of demand and supply, setting the price and setting profitability. So this is Economics 101. And essentially, what Economics 101 says is that if you're really good at generating demand, in fact, if you generate way more demand than your ability to supply, that will push the prices up and you'll make a profit. It also says, unfortunately, if you're really focused on supply and you can supply lots and lots and lots of people, and you think you're doing the right thing because you're making what you do available to everyone and you're making really high quality supply available to everyone who wants it, if you're good at doing that, but you're not so good at generating demand, you're going to lose money and your prices are going to fall, right? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild to think about that? And yet we see it all the time. We see things like Google creating Google Maps, and they can supply every single person on the planet with an amazing map experience. But because they can do it so readily, because they can do it so widely, the value of it or the price of it goes to 0, and they have to think of other ways to monetize that. Same thing as like Google search. They can do that for everyone in the world. So therefore, they need to think of other ways to monetize it because the supply is so high and so reliable. It's really counterintuitive, right? It's kind of confusing, frustrating, and annoying that if you focus on doing the right thing by customers and supplying lots of people with a high quality product, you actually lose money, because if you can't meet that with corresponding demand, the law of demand and supply pushes prices down and pushes profits into the negatives. And there's 2 examples that I love to show you just how unfair it is. So here's how unfair it is. I want you to imagine that there was a prophet god who hands out profit fairly and basically has a little checklist, and the prophet god sits up on the cloud with their checklist, and they say, if your business takes huge amounts of risk, requires huge amounts of capital to set up, is massively important to the economy, everyone relies upon it, and it has to have 100% safety record because you're taking people's lives into your own hands. If you do that, well, then that should be a profitable business. And if you do something ridiculous and superfluous that nobody actually needs, then you don't get any profit because that's so ridiculous. Well, that's what you'd think the prophet gods would do, wouldn't you? You'd think that that's how they'd operate themselves. But if we go and have a look at some examples, that's not exactly how it works. So for example, airlines fit the criteria perfectly. Very expensive, very high risk, has to have 100% safety record, has to be an absolutely amazing experience, 30,000 feet in the air. And yet they make 5 to 10% profit margins at the absolute best of times. Why is that? Because airlines are focused on the supply side. Every single day, those planes have to take off regardless of what happens. So they have to constantly be focused on the supply side, making those planes take off. And the demand side, they've just got to basically do whatever they've got to do to get the planes full, because the planes take off anyway. So they do discounts and they do, third-party offers and all this sort of stuff because those planes are flying anyway. So they lose money most of the time. They make 5 to 10% profit margin at the best of times. And then the ridiculous one is Rolex. Hasn't really innovated in 50 years, doesn't do great customer service. Nobody needs a Rolex. It's a simple device that like just does one thing that comes for free on your phone. It's really kind of like silly, but Rolex has an 18-month waiting list and they're wildly profitable, 70% margins at normal, at the normal way that they run. So I want you to keep this first idea in mind, that demand and supply tension is dictating your profit margins. You are profitable not based on what you do, you are profitable based on the relationship between the demand and supply tension for what you do. So you could be absolutely world-class at what you do, but if you're not world-class at generating demand for what you do, you're going to lose money. You're going to not be profitable, because the profit gods are not fair. They don't care about fairness. They just care about demand and supply tension. So if you're not good at creating demand and supply tension, you're not going to be profitable. And I bet you've seen examples of this in your industry. I bet you know someone in your industry who's wildly profitable, and you look at them and you go, you're not even that good, right? I'm better at this than you are. And I bet you it drives you crazy. I bet you there's someone, I bet give me a thumbs up if there's someone in your industry that makes you want to vomit because you're just like, oh, why is this person so profitable? Oh my goodness, they're can't believe it. Okay, so how do we get around this? Let's get good at generating demand and supply tension. All right, first thing we want to do, I want to share with you one little idea that is a really powerful idea that takes it to a whole new level. So it's not just demand and supply tension. There's something else that's really important that goes with demand and supply tension that really makes this thing work. And it's called transparency of demand and supply tension. So transparency of demand and supply tension is when the market becomes aware that you're in demand. So in this example here, we have the perfect example of transparency of demand and supply tension, where each person who's in the line is aware that there are lots of other people in the line. They can see that there's a lineup. So they know not to ask for a discount. Imagine waiting 20 or 30 minutes in this line, getting to the front of the line and saying, can I get a 50% discount for my ice cream today? They're going to say, hey, I'm sorry to be a party pooper, but look behind you. There's a massive line of people who want to buy ice creams. We're not doing discounts today. Of course, we're not doing discounts today because there's a massive lineup. Now, imagine you being able to say, if someone says to you, can I get a special price? And you say, actually, we've had about 500 people this month signal interest in working with us, and we can only look after about 50 people a month. I'm so sorry, but we have plenty of people who are happy to pay the price. And if you're interested, let me make a recommendation where you can go that's a cheaper deal. If you're just interested in shopping around on price, let me make some recommendations that are cheaper than us, right? Imagine being in the position where you really don't worry about that because you don't care, because you've got plenty of people who line up. Imagine having something called with or without you energy. With or without you energy, I want you to kind of consider this idea. There's a special energy that some people have called with or without you energy. And with or without you energy basically is, I'm going to make my targets with or without you, right? You don't need to buy. It's totally fine. I've got plenty of people who want to buy from me. If you want to go somewhere else, that's totally fine. I'm not worried about it. We're going to be fine with or without you, right? And it's not like something you have to say to people. It's a kind of energy. It's a swagger that you have about you because you've got this with or without you energy. You can be cheeky, you can be playful, you can be detached because you've got plenty of people who are wanting to buy from you. Now, this is the opposite of what most businesses do. Most businesses are super excited to sell their product. So when they've got something to sell, they run around yelling about it and screaming about it. And they basically say, buy my thing. And if you imagine what is going on in a one-to-one sales relationship like this, the salesperson is trying to sell their product. The buyer is trying to go, whoa, what's going on here? But one thing that's not happening is that this buyer is not aware that anybody else is interested in this. So they feel pushed and harassed. This image is the opposite of with or without you energy. Okay, so how do you get with or without you energy? How do you create transparency of demand and supply? So there's a secret trick that lots of big businesses do, successful entrepreneurs do, and this is what I would like you to do in the year ahead. It's called signals first, then sales. Signals first, then sales. So essentially what you do is you only ever do the marketing campaign to collect signals, but never sales. So you're only marketing for signals, you're not marketing for sales. You're inviting people to signal that they're interested, but they don't have to buy anything, right? So they're just signaling first. Now, let me give you the best example of this. The best example is here in the UK, we have a music festival every single year. You've probably heard of it, called Glastonbury Music Festival. Now, you may have seen it on TV, but what you may not know is how they sell the tickets every single year. So the way that Glastonbury do it is signals first, then sales. They have a landing page that says to obtain tickets for Glastonbury Festival, you must first register your interest. Failure to follow the registration instructions correctly will lead to rejection. You will be notified if this occurs. However, we would advise that you check your registration prior to tickets going on sale to ensure your registration has been accepted. Anyone, blah, 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 blah. So you've got to register first, and then only after you're registered will you get notification of when tickets go on sale. So here's how it works. For 364 days of the year, all you're allowed to do is register for tickets. That's all you're allowed to do. You just register for tickets. Now, they have about 140,000 tickets available, but they get 700,000 registrations. It's a 5-to-1 imbalance. 700,000 people want tickets, 140,000 people can get tickets. They are 500% signals versus sales that they want. And then one day of the year, just for one day, you can buy the tickets. And it's not even one day, it's about 30 minutes. So what happens every single year is the tickets completely sell out. So they sell out in about between 5 to 30 minutes. Festival fans devastated after tickets are sold out in just 6 minutes, right? And people are left devastated. In fact, 400,000 people or 360,000 people miss out, even though they registered for those tickets. So what they do is they promote the signals first campaign, then they do the sales, and that's how they create the demand and supply tension before they release their product, before everything happens. So what we're going to talk about today is how to do 4 different signal collection strategies so that you can campaign in this way, so that you can get a much better result in the year ahead. Because what we really want is for you to switch the way that you market from trying to sell stuff to trying to get an abundance of signals first and then making your sales. And this is going to make your marketing and sales way easier than it currently is if you get this right. Okay, so 4 signal strategies that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to go through the 4 signal collection strategies, and all of these strategies, they work using ScoreApp, right? So they sit on top of the software that we've created, and we've built ScoreApp so that you can use these signal collection strategies really easily, and that you can set them up in about 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast you are at setting stuff up. But it shouldn't take you a long time to set these campaigns up. They're really pretty much ready to go. In fact, I'll just let you know, around about now or in the next few minutes, you will get an email in your inbox, and it will actually give you a registration link to sign up for ScoreApp. And you've got 2 options. Option number 1 is you can create a free account, and that free account will also give you a discount when you upgrade if you want to go on a paid plan. And option number 2 is that everyone on this call will have the first access to our Black Friday deal. Black Friday is next Friday, so we're actually giving you early access to the Black Friday deal. And the deal is 70% off of a 3-month plan. So you'll actually get a 70% discount on your first 3 months. So that's our Black Friday deal as a way of it's just for new customers. It's a special thing that we're doing for new customers to get your first 3 months. Okay, so you'll get an email in your inbox, and it will basically give you a couple of different options if you're not already a ScoreApp user. Okay, let's go through the 4 signal collection campaigns that you can set up really easy to have a big year ahead. The first one is called waiting lists. So launching a waiting list is super powerful. Now, I really believe that everyone should have a waiting list campaign running at all times. It doesn't matter if you're a new business or an existing business, you should have a waiting list campaign running. So let's say you're a new business and you haven't figured out your product or service yet. Let's say you're still trying to figure out what it is that you're going to be doing. launch the waiting list and start collecting data early. Let's say you know that you're going to be a coach of some sort, but you don't know what kind of coach, you don't know what you're going to be specializing in or focusing. Just let people know in the year ahead, I'm going to be coaching some organizations. If you're interested in getting a coach into your organization, complete the waiting list registration form. Let me know what you're trying to solve, and I'll get back to you with some information when it's available. And that campaign will start the process of getting people to signal that they're interested in what you do. Let's say you're a more advanced business. You've been up and running for 10 years. Well, run a waiting list, because every single year you should be making slight tweaks and adjustments to your product or service anyway. So you can let people know we're updating our product and service next year. If you're interested in receiving information about the new updates, join the waiting list. Now, at the end of the year, here's a really cool thing you can do at the end of the year. It works really, really well November, December, and January. You can say, we aren't taking on any new clients for the rest of the year. November, December, we're fully booked. If you're interested in working with us next year, join the waiting list so that we can send you the information early. That is a really powerful campaign. It positions you as in demand, right? And it basically says our year's done, but if you're interested in working with us next year, join the waiting list, let us know that you're interested, and we can start sending you some information early. Super, super powerful. Imagine starting January and having a list of 150 people who are already on the waiting list wanting to work with you in the year ahead. Imagine how that would feel to start the year with a big, long waiting list. So this is not just for small scale entrepreneurs. This happens at the biggest scale. So the most famous example recently in the last few years was Elon Musk standing on stage with his Cybertruck. And he says, this is going to be the new product that we're going to be launching in 3 years from now. And in 3 years' time, it's going to be priced around these prices, and it's going to have these top speeds and towing ranges and whatnot. And he said, it's not coming out for the next 3 years. We haven't even built the factory yet. But if you want to go on the waiting list, put down $100 deposit, and we will put you on the waiting list so that you can get one of these and be one of the first people to have a Cybertruck when they're available. Now, what was amazing is within the first week, about 1 million people put down a $100 deposit to reserve their Cybertruck. Now, what they were able to do is they were able to go to the investment banks, and they were able to raise the money that they needed to launch the factory, so that, but based upon the number of registrations that they had. So even if they go to JP Morgan and they say, look, 1 million people have reserved a Cybertruck, let's say just 50,000 of them go ahead, only 1 in 20, that's still enough for them to be able to confidently raise enough money to build the factory and build 50,000 Cybertrucks. So super powerful that they were able to validate that people actually wanted this thing. Let me give you one more example. So my team came to me from Rethink Press, and they said, hey, we're thinking of doing AI tools for authors, and we've come up with this idea called Book Magic. And I said, oh, I don't know if we want to do this. I'm not sure if people want to use AI tools for authors. How about we just test, and we'll do a waiting list campaign. And I said, if we get more than 150 people, then we'll examine it further. If we get less than 150 people, we'll kill the idea in its tracks. I'm going to do a post on my LinkedIn, and I know from past experience that 150 people would be a good result. So over 150 people will investigate further. So what we did is I put up this post, and it says, I'm working on a project to develop some AI tools for authors. These tools don't write the book for you, but they help structure the book and give suggestions to improve the content, identify gaps, and help with creating promotional content. If you're interested, join the waiting list. So I promoted the waiting list. At this point, we hadn't written any lines of code. We hadn't designed a website. We hadn't done absolutely anything. We just stuck it on ScoreApp, and we just simply created these basic little screenshots of what it might look like and a little logo of what the logo might look like. And we just sort of said, boom, there we go. Have a look. Here's a waiting list. People went to the waiting list landing page, and then behind the scenes, 749 people completed the waiting list. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is way more popular than I thought. We should probably investigate this further, right? Up until right now, we're up to about 1,500 people on the waiting list. And here's the other thing that we did. When they joined the waiting list, we didn't just get name and email. We started asking all the questions about pricing and features. And even this one question that I asked people was, are you interested in seeing the investment presentation? Do you want the angel investor presentation for this business? And that was one of the questions that we put down. And we put in brackets, sophisticated angel investors only. And about 150 people said, yes, I would like to see the investment presentation for this business. So we sent through the investor presentation, and emails came back of people saying that they wanted to invest. And we had registrations of interest for £580,000 worth of investment capital on an idea that only had a waiting list, right? So when we went back to people, we said, look, we've got these many people on the waiting list. People have said this is how much they're willing to pay, the price. These are the key features that people want, and we can build those features. Would you be interested in investing? So 580,000 people came back. We went to HMRC and we said, how much can we raise for the SEIS round? And HMRC said, based on your business plan, you can raise up to £250,000. So we went back to our investors and said, we can only raise £250,000. Would you like to come in at a much reduced rate? So rather than investing 10,000, would you be interested in investing 4,000? And everyone came back and said, yes, please. So very rapidly, we raised £250,000 to launch the business. So we've raised £250,000, and now we're off building the website and getting ready for launch. But all of this started with a waiting list, right? So at the point that we raised money, all we had was a waiting list. How cool is that, right? So we didn't code anything. We didn't hire anyone. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just simply had a waiting list. So Elon Musk can do it, and we can do it too, right? So that's the key idea there. Okay, so how do you launch a waiting list? Well, what we've done is we've taken all of our best thinking and put it into waiting list templates. So we've made the templates super simple. You just fill in the blanks. So it says, are you ready to get better results with your blank? Fill in the blank, right? And all you have to do is fill in the images, and they're already there. We've got a couple of different templates. Join the waiting list and supercharge your blank, right? Get better results with your blank in 2024. Join the waiting list. So you just upload your images, fill in the blanks. In fact, let me ask you the question. What would you do to fill in the blanks here? Are you ready to get better results with blank? What would you put? In the chat, let me know. What would you put as your fill in the blank? Are you get better results with your career? Super simple, right? It doesn't show lots of detail. It just simply says better results with career. Time management, your high-performing team, your content marketing strategy, your corporate communication plan, your property investment portfolio, your dancing, your go-to-market strategy for your startup, right? So you don't have to be super specific. You can just simply say, check this out. This is roughly speaking what we're doing. Let me actually show you the example, the real one. Okay, so it's, are you ready to get better results? Now you just put your image there, and here's how we've done it. We've said, we're busy working on an approach, on an innovative and new approach to blank. So property investing or team management. If you want early access to the latest innovation, register your interest and you'll be part of our inner circle community to get priority access. You'll be getting more good thing, right? So we just said, fill in the blank with good thing. You'll be preventing the bad thing. So fill in the blank with whatever people will be preventing. And then you'll discover why blank matters. Fill in the blank with whatever that is, right? So super easy for you to set up the waitlist. We've actually just created these fill in the blanks and guided you towards easily creating this. Unlock early access and exclusive insights. Start by joining the waiting list. Share, answer 6 questions so we can learn more about what you'd like to achieve. Receive information. You'll be added to the front of the queue to receive early access to our cutting-edge blank approach. Right? About us, our team are experts in blank. Over the last 10 years, we've worked with blank number of clients to achieve results like blank 1, blank 2, blank 3. We're committed to improving the thing and bringing new strategies and approaches. So we've made this could not be easier based on these templates. You just literally fill in the blanks, right? So, and they're not complicated. You could be an early stage business, you could be an advanced business, and you're ready to rock and roll. How cool is that? give me a little thumbs up or something like that if you think that's pretty cool. And by the way, you can do this with a free account, right? So you can actually do this. These templates are available with a free ScoreApp account. So you can get your first 10 people on the waiting list without spending any money. Okay. The other thing I will say is that when people do join the waiting list, we actually have, you can edit the back so that people can see different content based upon how they respond. So let's say one of the questions is, which best describes you, small business, corporate, or government? And someone says, I'm a corporate. You can have a video just for corporate. You can have a video for small business. You could have a video for government. And it's basically only going to show them that video based upon how they answered the questions. You could also have book a discovery session for a one-to-one based upon how they answer the question. So you might say, do you have a budget for this? And someone says, yes, and we're ready to spend. And you go, great, book a discovery session. Let's go straight to the call. And if they say, no budget just yet, you send them to the video so they can watch the video and warm up, right? So you can change the responses based on how they answer the questions. Okay, number 2, right? So strategy number 2 is called a common interest discussion group, or a discussion group for short, right? So think about a common interest discussion group. So this is a really simple strategy where you're just simply getting people together around a common interest. So you might say, are you interested in running a London Marathon? Join our London Marathon discussion group. Are you interested in investing in startups? Join our startup investing discussion group. Are you interested in building a high-performing team who work remotely? Join our entrepreneur discussion group about high-performing teams who work remotely. So this is called a common interest discussion group, or just a discussion group for short. There's a couple of variations for these. You can have them open-ended, where there's no end to it. You're just going to have an ongoing discussion about X, Y, and Z. So it could just be, if you're interested in building a brand, join our brand building discussion group. Or if you're interested in running a good profitable business, join our profitable business discussion group. There's no end in sight. The other way you can do this is you can also do a 5-day discussion group or a 7-day discussion group that has a lot more intensity around it. So for example, we've got an open-ended discussion group for our ScoreApp community. So anyone who's a ScoreApp user, in fact, Rebecca will put the chat in the chat. If you're a customer, you'll get accepted into this group if you work with ScoreApp, if you've got a subscription. And in there, you can ask people questions. You can get people to give you feedback on your scorecards, all of those sorts of things, right? Whatever you've created, you can use it in the discussion group. So that's an open-ended example. But here's some closed examples. So this one is Speak English with Confidence, 5-day challenge. This one is the 5-day Getting Leads from LinkedIn Sprint. So it's 5 days to get more leads on LinkedIn. 7,000 people joined that one. The 5-day Marathon Peak Performance Challenge, 1,200 members. This one's open-ended. This is the Fertility Breakthrough Education with Gabriella. 23,000 people joined the Fertility Breakthrough Challenge, or the Fertility Breakthrough Discussion Group. So Gabriella runs a fertility clinic, and when 23,000 people joined her discussion group, that basically meant she just didn't have to worry about leads anymore, right? So her marketing's pretty much done all the time because the people in the discussion group constantly talking and inviting people, and they just do weekly Q&As and things like that. Here's a really cool one on WhatsApp. My friend Max decided that he wanted to connect with big investors, so something called family offices. A family office is a super rich family, ultra high net worth family, who employ someone to manage their money full time. And what Max did is he reached out to all these people on LinkedIn and invited them to a WhatsApp group. He ended up with $5 billion worth of funds under management who joined his WhatsApp group. So in his phone at all times, he is the person who moderates a group on WhatsApp with $5 billion worth of investment capital behind it. So this is just super simple. I've got another friend of mine who has a C-suite executive discussion group. He has 400 senior executives of large companies who are in his discussion group. So common interest discussion group, super powerful. How to achieve blank a 7-day breakthrough. So you might just do the 7-day one, right? Super simple. Once again, we actually have templates for this, right? Discussion group templates. So we've got get inspired about fitness, join the discussion, join the discussion. What does this discussion group give you? We're hosting a WhatsApp discussion group for people who want blank. Join the discussion group. And let me just show you that one, because I just want you to really feel that it's just so easy to do this. So here's an example that we've just put together. Join the discussion. We're hosting a WhatsApp discussion group for people who want outcome. You just have to say what the outcome is. Join the discussion. Do you care about achieving result? You're not the only one. Join the discussion. Do you care about achieving weight loss? You're not the only one. Join the discussion. Do you care about building a powerful team? You're not the only one. Do you care about achieving retirement wealth? You're not the only one. Join the discussion, right? More good thing, less bad thing, peace of mind when it comes to difficult thing, right? So fill in the blanks, whatever it is. We're hosting a WhatsApp discussion group for people who want more of a good thing, less of a bad thing, and more peace of mind when it comes to a difficult thing. What does the discussion group give you? Daily posts on topic, recommendations of podcast videos and books, question and answer with experts weekly, opportunities for good things to happen, about the group moderators, that's you, right? Your team, how to join the discussion, register your interest, answer 5 questions, join the WhatsApp group. The link will be provided. Jump in and enjoy, leave whenever you want, right? Very compelling, very, very compelling. Jump in and join, enjoy, or leave whenever you want. Why would anyone not do that? Now, this is the power of this, because you can easily get thousands of people. Now, going back to the original premise of this call, the demand and supply tension is automatically created because people can see how many people are in the discussion group. So if you've got a discussion group with 500 people in it, people can see you've got a discussion group with 500 people in it. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you like the idea of launching a discussion group. Okay, any questions about, before I do the final 2, I've got 2 more tactics. Any questions about wait lists or discussion groups? And I'm just going to prioritize anyone who's got the camera on and who's happy to go audio on and actually ask the question out loud. So just do the react button. Madeline, let's hear from you.
Hi, thank you. So I did pop this in the chat, but I think there's a lot of chat. I was just wondering, because I'm in the Helen Pritchard/Tudor group, which is how I came to you today. And that's on Facebook, even though the focus is LinkedIn. And you've obviously just talked about WhatsApp groups. Could it be anywhere? And how do you decide which platform is best? And I saw someone ask a question in the chat about WhatsApp and the kind of feeling of giving your phone number up and that kind of thing. Just any advice on that would be great.
So a couple of things. Facebook and WhatsApp are really good because people typically, regardless of what they say about how much they hate Facebook, they still go there every week. The numbers don't lie. Something like 43 million people in the UK every single week go into Facebook, unique people. So every single person says that they don't check Facebook anymore. The numbers don't lie. So one of the hardest things about getting a discussion group is getting people to actually log in and go there. So Facebook's good because people do that. LinkedIn's pretty good for a professional group, but LinkedIn's also pretty noisy and people don't spend as much time on LinkedIn as they do with Facebook. WhatsApp's probably the best because it's typically on people's home screen and the alerts are on, which means that people are going into WhatsApp all the time and they're getting the alert to check out the discussion group. There are different ways you can set up the discussion group. You can have it so that people can see each other and they've got all that information. You can also have it so that people can't see each other. So there's different community setups that you can use where people are a bit blind to. So I'm actually part of a discussion group where I can't see the other participants in the group, but there's interesting information coming out daily. I can submit questions. So it's almost a one-to-one relationship with lots and lots of people. So there's different ways you can actually set it up. I'm a big fan of doing whatever's fast and cheap and that already has traction when you're just launching and testing something. I'm not a big fan of paying for subscriptions to new community sites that people have to set up a new account and they have to like do some new action in order to join the group. So for me personally, start on WhatsApp, Facebook, or LinkedIn as your starting point. Abigail, let's hear from you.
Hi, Daniel. So in order to have a reasonable discussion group or a waiting list, you need an audience. So that's obviously the examples that you're giving. I mean, obviously your audience is massive, but for most of us,
Well, let me just pause you there. When I've started businesses from scratch, I've always started, or plenty of times I've started with zero. And one of the reasons I've started with zero is I didn't want to cannibalize my existing businesses. So even when I've had businesses, I've not want, like, for example, when we launched ScoreApp, I didn't want to mail the Dent database too soon because we weren't ready for that level of engagement. And I also didn't want to put it all over my social media just yet because we were in the early stages. I literally did cold DMs to about 3,000 people to get the first 300 people onto webinars and stuff like that. So I have this distinct memory of my wife driving us to this thing on the weekend when the kids take the kids to the farm. And I'm sitting there sending DMs like a madman to all of these people who are following hashtags. So, hey, I noticed that you're talking about this particular topic. I'm running a little workshop on this if you'd like to come along. And I probably DM'd about 3,000 people to get the first 300 people on there because I wanted to do it separate to what I was currently doing. So you can do cold outreach. You can post content 3 or 4 times a week on LinkedIn. By the way, if you post content 3 times a week on LinkedIn, you're in the top 1% of posters on LinkedIn. That's it. You're in the top 1 in 100. And newsflash, everyone who's crushing it is posting 3 times at least on LinkedIn. So no excuses. Doesn't cost you anything for that. LinkedIn's algorithms will boost you far and wide. You can do a joint venture with someone who's already got a database. You could say, hey, would you like 5% of all of our revenue in year 1 if you promote this out to your database? Or would you like affiliate commissions? Or would you like us to just simply pay a sponsorship fee? You could do paid ads if you can afford paid ads and if you've got the skills to do paid ads. So essentially, the honest answer, if you're starting from scratch, let me be really honest with Abigail and everyone. There's only one way to launch a business, and it's called kicking the door off the hinges. Right? Whatever anyone else says, whatever anyone's going to tell you, if you're starting from scratch, you kick the door down. There is no handle. There's no easy way. You brute force it. You brute force it into existence. You are going to have to kick the door off the damn hinges. And that means sitting up till 2 o'clock in the morning, cold messaging people, creating some content, getting it out there, getting the word out there. And if you hate the idea of doing that, then I really would recommend starting out by working with a company that's already got traction and doing some campaigns with a company that's already got movement, and being under the wing of an experienced entrepreneur. But all launches, when you're starting out from scratch, involve the kick the door down approach.
Yeah.
Okay, Rebecca, let's hear from you.
Hi, Danielle. Thank you. I wondered if you'd ever used Telegram channels or the LinkedIn newsletter feature in this discussion arena.
Yeah, so Telegram and WhatsApp, similar sort of things, similar sort of offering. In fact, I think Telegram was started by the founder of WhatsApp, so very similar indeed. And LinkedIn newsletters, I've found that LinkedIn newsletters work really well for people who've got a big brand already. People will subscribe to the newsletter. A newsletter I've deliberately left off the list because of the tyranny of having to create really good lots of content all the time. So if you're going to do a newsletter, if you're not doing really high quality content every week for the newsletter, people unsubscribe or don't like it, or they rate you negatively. So it creates a little bit of a treadmill. The difference with the discussion group is a lot of the time the users are creating a lot of the value that's going on in the discussion group. You only need to kind of launch a discussion and people discuss it, but there's not the same level of expectation that people have when it comes to a high quality newsletter. I think a newsletter is a good way once you've already got some traction to keep people warm and to warm people up further. But as far as the signal collecting campaigns, I've found that they are a little bit of a treadmill. Anna.
Hi, Daniel. Yeah, so good to see you. Thank you for doing this. Always really useful to speak with you and get your insights. I'm curious in terms of what you feel would be the best way to try and get this discussion group out to an email list and how to integrate that with ScoreApp, because I think that's where I'm at the moment, is really recognizing the value of having a discussion group. But I've got a big email list on ScoreApp. Some of them are engaged, some of them aren't. But I really see now that there is a real value in having that discussion group in Facebook. So I'm just curious to what you think, because obviously some people don't use Facebook. I know you say, you know, everybody does, but I know that particularly in my market, I think that you know they do and they don't.
Yep.
But what's your thoughts on how to get
the
an
thoughts
email
are
community onto Facebook? What's your, or
so
should
the
you?
thoughts are that there is nothing that people will all do, right? There's nothing that all people are going to do. You could say, I'm going to open up a penthouse apartment in the middle of London and it's free for anyone who wants to stay. And you will get emails back saying, I don't visit London very often, right? And you go, I'm giving you a free freaking penthouse if you want to stay in it. Yeah, but I never go. Have you got one in Barcelona? I prefer Barcelona, right? People are just like that.
Yeah.
So I'm launching something on Facebook. I don't use Facebook. Well, then don't use the group, right? I'm launching a group on Facebook. If you don't use Facebook, you're not a special snowflake, whatever, don't use Facebook. If you want to use the group, and if not, don't, right? Yeah. So there's nothing that everyone is going to vibe with. So you're just trying to create the thing that is the best fit for the most people. Gotcha. I like to launch it as if it's a product. So I like to do up some little special graphics and designs. Hey, we're launching this thing on Facebook. If you've already got everyone's email address and you've got lots of information about them, you can just email them and say, hey, we're launching a Facebook group. If you want to do a proper launch for it, you can do the ScoreApp that then gives them the link to the Facebook group where they answer some questions. First, if you want, you can actually set up a Facebook group that they have to apply and answer questions on their way into the Facebook group. So that's another way, but it's very hard to get the data out of that unless you use other third-party software that works with Chrome. So the key idea, though, is you're using this as just as one of your tools or one of your strategies to warm people up and get more people signaling interest. Yeah. So take Gabriella, for example. She's got 23,000 people on her Facebook group, but separate to that, she's got a ScoreApp scorecard to get your fertility score, and that's nothing to do with the Facebook group. It's just a scorecard. She's also got a opt-in page for a book, and she also runs live events every month, 2-3 times a month of live Zoom account events. So she's created something where you can join the Facebook group if you want. You can sit in on a live event if you want. You can get her book if you want. And you can take her scorecard if you want. And all the things kind of cross-pollinate to each other. They all kind of bounce around. So if you take a scorecard, you get invited to the group. If you're in the group, you get invited to the webinar.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just one very final quick thing in terms of, like, I saw there on LinkedIn that you posted a little like bit.ly link or a short link. Do you find that when you're posting those short links that actually your visibility drops because you're trying to take somebody away from the platform? LinkedIn just did that automatically.
LinkedIn does that automatically.
Right.
LinkedIn wants to track everyone and everything you're doing, so they just automatically shorten your links and use LinkedIn links. But I just posted a normal link.
Okay. And you don't find that your visibility drops when you're posting links away from the platform?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, here's what I focus on. In the early days, this is the key thing to focus on. Be directionally correct and be brute force. Don't be a sniper rifle in the beginning. Just keep moving directionally correct. Kick the door off the hinges. If you lose 5% because you posted a link, well, then don't post it tomorrow. Put it in the comments. If you get a better result because this, but just keep steamrolling forward.
Okay.
Brute force. You're starting with a blank page, right? Like a rocket launch, you just have to get that damn thing off the ground. You've just got to get enough thrust underneath it to break to break Earth's gravity. So
Yeah.
you've got to hit something. With any new business, you have to hit escape velocity. And escape velocity is that you've just got enough stuff happening that you get off the ground, and then you can fine tune once you're off the ground. But just be a bit more brute force.
Thank you.
Cheers, one. Okay, let's go. Just one more question, Payal.
I'm planning on using affiliates and influencers to launch a product. And I just wanted your thoughts on what that structure should look like, how much in advance and how much budget I don't know if that's a question you can answer, but how big that budget should be to
That is a big, that with that particular question, in the past, I've used affiliates to launch new products and services. The one thing I know about affiliates is they love to promote free stuff and they love to promote very low cost stuff. They don't like to promote expensive stuff. So you've got to create something that's a very free first signal of interest. So for example, I'm about to talk about scorecards and assessments. Affiliates love to promote scorecards and assessments because it's free for their people to take a scorecard. And then when people take the scorecard, they can then be tracked so that you can then pay out affiliate commissions for them. So what you want to do is make it so that the affiliate just simply looks good by promoting the scorecard and telling people, hey, check this out. If you've never run a marathon before, check out the Marathon Readiness Scorecard. It's a really great free resource. The affiliate wants to do something that's very low risk for their brand, and then you track it against it. Now, here's what I personally do. I personally just pay for a free lead. So I might say for every person who fills it in, it's £10. And then it's up to me to monetize it, and our relationship's finished at that point. Or in the past, what I've done is I've launched events at a low cost where it's like £29 a ticket for the affiliates. It's £99 on the front of the website. It's £29 on the back of the website through the affiliate link, and I will pay the affiliate 300%. So if they get a £29 sale, I'll pay £99 to the affiliate. So affiliates are like, what are you talking about? And I say, basically, provided the fact that someone spends 29, I'll pay you 99, because I want that lead. I want that person who's arriving. And for a particular business, spending a net of £60 on a lead or £70 on a lead is totally fine if I've got someone who's interested. So I've always done things like that. In the past, I've also done 5, 10, 15% of actual spend, but that tends to work later in the process. Affiliates just want to make a sale and get paid as quick as possible. So there's different ways you can structure it depending on your business model and how much money. What is your you need to know something called your allowable cost per lead or your allowable cost per sale and work backwards from there. I personally have a view that in the early days of my launches, I don't really care for profitability. I just want sales. Yeah. So I'm happy to give almost all the profit to the affiliates just to get off the ground. That's my personal belief. So if I'm launching something that's a couple of grand and I know that I've got £500 available worth of margin, I'll pretty much move that straight to the marketing department, straight to the affiliates, because I just want volumes of people buying the thing to begin with. That's my weird attitude as an entrepreneur. Okay, Tom, last one, and then we'll continue on with our next strategies.
Morning, thank you. Just a quick one. I think you've possibly already answered it, but so I've signed up to ScoreApp. I've built a waiting list. We've not launched it yet. I find myself in a position of I'm not quite sure on the kind of message. I kind of feel like there's possibly two messages. Obviously, they're related to the same thing, but one is a bit more, kind of profit-driven. One is a bit more kind of holistic.
Yep, Tom, I would just,
too much. Should I A/B test?
When people join the waiting list, I would have one of the questions saying which message resonates more powerfully with you, and ramp up your profit with X, Y, and Z, yep, or build a business you love with X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Right. So just simply take 3 or 4, two or three messages and say which strapline, which which message are you most attracted to? Or which benefit are you most attracted to?
Yes. Yep, good idea. Thank you.
Cool. You can also do rank 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. How important is it for you to do this? And then next question on a scale of 1 to 10, you can see which one people rank higher.
Yeah, perfect. And then obviously amend the scorecard based on that.
Collect the data on the way through as they're registering for the waiting list. So you should have about 5 or 6 questions that people have to answer in order to join the waiting list, so that you can collect the data that you need.
Sure.
Okay, let's cover our next couple of strategies. We are tight on time, so I will run over, but I understand if you have to leave on time. All right, let's get in there. Strategy number 3 is a Zoom event. So a Zoom event, I personally run an introduction event every single week. All right, so I actually do this for Dent, or I do this for different companies that I'm involved in. Every single week I'm running an introduction event. On average, we get about 60, 70, 80 people every week who turn up to my live introduction event. And on average, I track about £2 to £3 million a year worth of new business that comes just from doing an introduction event. So that one activity that takes 90 minutes a week drives millions of sales. So here's how you do it. You just you come up with a workshop, or you come up with an introduction event concept, and you just run it 10 times, 12 times, 20 times a year. And if you can, you build up to maybe 30 or 40 times a year. And you're trying to find something that is just a repeatable introduction event, that you can just do it over and over again. You can do it in your sleep. You can do it hungover. You can just simply roll it out whenever you need to roll it out. So an introduction to blank, find out how to achieve results faster and safer than ever, right? An introduction to weight loss, find out how to achieve your best body faster and safer than ever. An introduction to building a great team, find out how to achieve high performance sales faster and better than ever, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, an introduction to blank. In the chat, have a go at that. Have a go at this one. An introduction to blank, find out how to achieve result faster and safer than ever. What would you do? Let's see a few examples in the chat. An introduction to healthy weight loss, an introduction to getting your personal life back, an introduction to playing it bigger in your life, find out how to take your success to the next level, introduction to product ideation, an introduction to change management, introduction to yoga, introduction to stress management, find out how to boost team performance and well-being at the same time. Nice. Introduction to digital growth, how to get more leads and sales from your website. Fantastic. I love it. So you've got the hang of this one. Once again, you've got lots of templates, right? All of the templates that we've given you, they all rely upon this blueprint. This is the exact blueprint that we use for all templates. There's a landing page, there's data capture and quiz questions, and then there's dynamic results based on how people answer those questions. That's the formula. So this is what we're doing for waiting lists, for discussion groups, for Zoom workshops. So all of these templates, behind the scenes, they all sit on top of this blueprint. Landing page, questions, dynamic results. And we've got something like 60 or 70 of these blueprints available, of these templates available. So for example, this one, business webinar, you can change that, of course. Free webinar, marketing for your small business, a beginner's guide to marketing for business. Register now. That template's just ready to go. A quick bonus with your Zoom stuff is that you can automatically record your Zoom calls. You can put it onto your YouTube channel, or you can actually set up a scorecard for people to get the replay. So what we did with this one is we just set up a scorecard that says 30-minute lead formula, how to generate this. It was basically a live event that I recorded. And then when people click the button, they answer a few questions, they get access to the recording. Same thing with this one, right? All based on a template, learn simple step process, get the recording, register below, right? So all of that sits on the same blueprint. So whether it's a live event or if it's a recording, you just simply put the recording on the dynamic results. So once people answer the questions, there's the video for them to watch on the back end of that. Now, the fourth one, of course, is our most effective, the most powerful, and the biggest long-term driver for your business, and that is scorecards. Another word for a scorecard would be an assessment. And we just know that people just love scorecards. They just love filling this stuff out. This one is incredible, 16 personalities. 806 million people have taken this to find out if they have a personality or not. We have wealth scorecards. We have the love languages scorecard, right? I like this one, pitch ready scorecard. Would an investor give you their money now? Find out by answering questions. Here's one that someone did recently, selling your business. If you want to sell your business for a life-changing sum, take the scorecard to see if you're ready. This is generating lots of leads for a mini M&A business. And of course, with scorecards, you don't just get the name and email, you get all the data, all the information comes through for you with those, right? So are you ready to blank? Answer 10 questions to find out, and away you go. Now, for those of you that have not seen it, the AI that we have built into ScoreApp is absolutely phenomenal, right? It's absolutely wild. The speed that you can build a scorecard is wild. In fact, let's just test how fast we can do this, right? So if I go create new scorecard, start the clock, right? Use the AI setup wizard, get started, generate leads. How would you describe your business? Yoga studio. How would you describe your target audience? Busy professionals. Let's go that. AI is doing it. What do you want to help your clients to improve? Stress reduction improves, prevent stress reduction. Let's go that. Pick a concept. Find your Zen in minutes. Unlock your inner calm. Conquer stress with yoga. Unlock your inner calm. I like conquer stress without yoga, actually. Now it's time to add your questions. Are you currently experiencing high levels of stress? Do you often feel overwhelmed by workload? Would you like to improve your ability to unwind? Do you struggle finding time? Are you interested in blah, blah, blah? So it's created some questions, all done by AI. I won't go through. All right, why not? I'll do some more. There we go. And now I go next and then create the scorecard. Hold tight. It writes 525 words. Saving 3.5 hours of development time. So 4 hours saved, 587 words written. Go to the dashboard and conquer stress with yoga. We are ready to publish. And it's already just selected an image, selected the wrong image. But anyway, we can see here that it's gone and created a scorecard. Conquer stress with yoga. It picked up on stress as opposed to yoga. Let's just go in there and we go build. Make one quick change. Change our image. 3 images. Yoga. There we go. Select. And we are good to roll. All right. So there we go. We've created our scorecard. Conquer the stress with yoga. Let's see if it's updated. Boom. Take the scorecard. So we already have a version 1 ready to go, and it took 3 minutes. So there's no excuses. AI does all the work for you now. It's written 600 words almost, and that took 2 or 3 minutes, and it did all the work, right? And so it did the coding and the development. All you have to do is kind of put your finishing touches on. So just on that, make sure that you keep this in mind, that when you are using AI, remember that it's your job to ice the cake. So the AI is going to bake the sponge cake for you, but it's going to be generic. Your job is to be the entrepreneur who ices the cake. So for example, this is one I saw the other day. Chris Ducker, he's put his images in there. He's put his brand and profile in there. He's added his logos. So this is what it looks like, ice the cake. AI does a lot of the work, but then his team come along and actually put the icing on so that it looks like his brand and his product. So let the AI do the first 4 hours and do the last half an hour of actually just altering the images and the colors and the logos so that it's your cake that you're selling. Consider that the AI is just a beta version and that you're going to create a more advanced version once you do. Okay, so we are at time. Right, all of those strategies sit on top of ScoreApp. you've got an email in your inbox that is going to give you either the ability to create a free account, the ability to get a Black Friday offer if you want. Once you're a ScoreApp client, if you've not seen it before, you've got lots of templates. You've got access to the AI. You can download the book Scorecard Marketing. You can jump on our weekly setup and score workshop for real fine tuning and updates with our head of customer success or client success. You can use our 29-point checklist for launching. A lot of people today ask the question, how do I launch my scorecard and get people to take it? Or how do I get people to join my waiting list? We actually have a 29-point checklist that gives you lots of different ways to go and launch this out there. Once you want to scale this up, it's very affordable. So you start with a free account, and then it's like £24 a month for most businesses, £49 a month for slightly bigger businesses, and £82 a month for much bigger businesses. I mean, for £82 a month, you can generate 3,000 responses a month. So that's some pretty big businesses. 1,000 responses a month is only 49. And for most businesses, you don't need more than 100 responses a month to build your business. So it's like £24. You've got ready-made marketing funnels. You've got a steady stream of qualified leads. You've got data-rich insights, and you're building your business. Every single lead is an asset, right? So there's not a lot of job security when it comes to business. Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have job security. The one thing that does give you a lot of security in business is having a list. If you've got 10,000 names on a list who know you, like you, and trust you, that is job security, because essentially, anytime there's a recession, anytime there's a reason for your business to be under threat, you've got a list of 10,000 people you can go back to. So the goal in business is to, if you want to build more security, build a bigger list. Get a bigger list and you've got more security built into the business. That's why I say that every lead is an asset. All right, here's what I'm going to do. For those of you that want to stick around, I'm going to do extended Q&A, and I'm going to show you 1 or 2 advanced features that I love in ScoreApp. And I'll stick around for another 10, 15 minutes doing Q&A. If you've got to go, I totally understand. I understand that that we said it would be only an hour. So if you have to go, that's totally fine, but I'll stick around for another 15 minutes doing questions. Just pop your hand up if you've got a question. And we can go through some of those questions as well. Alex, let's hear from you.
Hello. My question is, if you have no followers, no list, nothing, should you create a discussion group or a scorecard?
Personally, I think getting people to join a waiting list is a really good one, because people can't see how many people have joined the waiting list until you tell them, until you show them the data, the results. But it's a really good one for you. Like for me personally, one of the first ways that I'm going to test any business idea is I'm going to test with a waiting list, because I just want to see, are people interested enough to join a waiting list and answer 5 or 6 questions? That to me is my easiest, lowest bar way of just reaching out to people. And I can do cold outreach with that. So I can say, hey, just letting you know, I'm going to be launching something new next year. If you're interested in receiving the information, just jump on the waiting list and I'll add you to the group that gets all the info. And then you see whether people are interested. Personally, I want to see at least 30 people join a waiting list before I'm at all even thinking about doing something. My next bar is 150 people join the waiting list. And, you know, for me personally, 30 is the minimum viable response. If I struggle to get 30 people on a waiting list, then I'm not happy with that idea. 150 is a okay to good response. If I can just turn my attention to it and get 150 people on a waiting list, I'm like, okay, this could potentially work. So that's kind of the bar that I set myself.
Okay, so I message people. I tell them what I do, and I get them on the wait list. And then after,
Alex, you can use our checklist, the 29 ways to launch your scorecard, but just use it for the waiting list.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No worries. Ida.
Hello. Daniel, thank you for this platform. Very helpful. I wanted to find out, I might be wrong, but it sounds like this is more tailor-made for services. Does this work for startups that have products and they are not high-value products? Okay, I'll say about my business, it's an activewear business. Does that work for activewear businesses?
Yeah, so for me personally, if I was going to launch an activewear business, I would use artificial intelligence to generate images of what the products might look like, and just have very first look of what the products might look like. And I'd work with a graphic designer to kind of mock up some designs and some branding. And I would say a new activewear business is arriving in 2024. Join the waiting list for more information. The problem with physical products. Yeah, so join the waiting list to see our new range. Something like that. The other thing too is, if I'm thinking about an activewear brand, I'm in competition with a lot of established brands. So the thing that's going to be the differentiator is the founder, the community, the niche, the very focused niche, which is another, very much community focused. So it's very, very hard to differentiate a product, because in the activewear space, pretty much everything you could think of has been done. You've got Lululemon in the yoga space and Sweaty Betty, and then you've got Nike, and then you've got Reebok, and you've got all these different brands at all different price points. So you've got to differentiate through community or through the campaign or the way that you do it, all of those types of things. So I would definitely be doing waiting lists. The other thing that you want to try and avoid with physical products is you want to avoid things like warehousing costs or product that doesn't move, that you then have, stuck in a warehouse. So ideally, if you can launch a waiting list and kind of gauge interest before you commit to an order, you're much better off. You're going to make much better decisions based on that. Okay, Payal.
I wanted some ideas on how to launch pre-order campaigns to be in line with sustainability and not having mass stock, and offering products at a reduced price, and just get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so you can join the wait list to receive a discount, which is the reduced price. And you could have an FAQ. Why are we launching a wait list? We're launching a wait list to be more sustainable. If we can get more information about what people want, we have less wastage. Join the wait list and help us to become more sustainable. So you just make it a feature. So anything that you're thinking about with that, just pop it into the wait list. Also, you may want to just ask the question while people are filling in the wait list, what are the most important aspects of our brand? If you had to pick one or two, what would you choose? What if you had to pick the most important thing that we need to get right? What is it? And see if people are interested in the sustainability thing. It may be something they care about deeply, or it may not be. If it's not something your customers care about, then you care about it behind the scenes, but don't lead with it. Sell them the product, but do the sustainability thing anyway, because you care about it and your employees care about it. But make sure that you meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. They may care about this, and that's great if they do. But remember that when you sell to people, you have to meet them where they are, not at the destination you wish they were.
Got it.
Laurie.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you very much. It's been really, really useful as always. In terms of the customer journey that you were just mentioning there, a lot of people go straight to email list. Do you think actually having like a scorecard, then at the end of the scorecard, promote the wait list or a discussion group, and then at the end of that, use any emails gathered to actually have on a wait list? An email list? Yeah, so all emails gathered, you've already automatically, it's built into the system to get people's permission to email them. So this is all four of these are ways to build your email list, and it gives people reasons to give you their email by default. But yes, I definitely want to cross promote these campaigns. When someone joins the wait list, a week later or a few days later, ask them to complete the assessment. If they've completed the wait list, let them know that there's also a discussion group that's launching as a next step.
If you've also got, if you do have any other signature content, use the signature content as part of this. So for example, let's say you've written a book, you can say, join the waitlist and get a free copy of my book. Or join the waitlist and get a free replay of a workshop that we just ran that we charge £50 for. So you can cross promote. Remember that in order for customers to buy from you, they need 3 things. They need logic, emotion, and urgency. So logic is they understand the product clearly and they understand the features, advantages, and benefits for them, and they can calculate a return on investment if they buy it. Emotion is that they know you, like you, and trust you, and they feel that you're familiar to them. They've clocked up enough time and experience with you for them to say, yeah, I want to buy from this person. I like this person. And urgency is they feel that they would miss out on something if they didn't buy now, that there is a penalty to waiting till later. So what you're trying to do is put enough stuff in place to tick all the logic, emotion, and urgency boxes that people have before they buy.
Thank you. Just a quick follow on, if I may. Is that functionality all within the ScoreApp, or like you've got MailerLite things? Can you do the cross-pollination through different systems?
You can send an automatic email through ScoreApp that goes straight out. So you can straight away have an email that goes to anyone who's completed it. But then after that, you export the data into a Google Sheet or into a CSV file. You can then put it into whatever you use for your emails.
Right, thank you.
No worries. Annalie.
Hello. I'm so sick. I'm in bed, so you can't see me. But I'm super curious because I really love this concept, as you know, and I really want help to get started as soon as possible with like the combination of doing the ScoreApp, webinar, book, like the whole package, because I feel like I have everything in place. I just want to take action as soon as possible for 2024. Like, are there any like coaching group or anything that could just guide me and get me started as soon as possible?
Yeah, so once you're part of ScoreApp, you've got the community group. There's courses on the back end that teach you, that are pre-recorded. There is a weekly Setup and Score event that we run. And you can also click on our help desk and we'll put you in touch with one of our customer success team. If you get to the point where you just want someone to do it for you, we have a number of people who are just done for you specialists. It costs about £2,000 to £4,000. And you will have a graphic designer, a copywriter, a campaign manager who just comes in and does it all for you. We've got a partner organization that does a great job of these. They really specialize in working with people who want to throw ad budget at this thing. So once you start spending money on ads, every single 1% improvement that you can make is going to save you a lot of money on your ads. So the difference between getting a 3% opt-in or a 4% opt-in or a 5% opt-in is going to make a huge difference to how much your ad spend gets you. So working with the company Leadflow, they're very, very good at creating highly optimized campaigns for most of the clients who work with Leadflow. They want to spend 10 grand a month on ads. So they want to get their scorecard right to begin with as best they possibly can so that they can maximize their advertising budget. But we do have some partners who can just do it all for you if you want. But obviously there's a cost involved.
But is this connected to the key person of influence? Like I don't really understand the connection between those two.
I don't even understand the connection between all the things that I do. Annalie, I've got 8 different companies, and occasionally I bump into people and I say, "How do I know you?" And they go, "I work in the company, you idiot." So I don't even know what I'm doing. But no, we have the Dent Accelerator program, which is the Key Person of Influence Accelerator program. Is a program you go through. Completely separate thing, and I'd love to pick up that conversation with you in another time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Natasha.
Hi, Danielle. Very good one. Thank you. We have to, so my question is, I'm just thinking how best to do this. We have the core product, and then we have what we thought would be a lead magnet. We took one pain point and built the lead magnet around it, stress management more particularly. We deal with we help airline executives with their health and performance, and we picked up stress management, and we did a lead magnet on that. If I take the 4 strategies, because we want to promote both, or do we just promote one through the other? So how would you?
We have a guy called TJ who deals with corporate executives, and one of his client types is corporates, and he does workplace health and wellness with corporates. Now, the way he does this is once he talks to HR or L&D, he has an amazing first assessment that they send out to their team. They collect all the data because everyone fills in the assessment. They have to. They get told, please fill this in the next 48 hours. They fill it in. All that data comes back. He then presents them with the data. Now, he's recently done a project with Accenture that he put out on his LinkedIn. He presents the senior team who want to buy from him with the data, and he says, here's the key issues that your team are telling us. So, like, for example, there are questions there about, do you ever feel a lack of motivation when theoretically you should feel motivated? Do you ever get so stressed out that you need to take a day off? Right? So he asks these kind of questions. Now, imagine when he goes back and says, did you know that 22% of your team get so stressed out that they need to take a day off? You know, we need to put a stop to that. Let's see if we can improve that. Now, when he does a 3-month intervention with that company, he then gets the same people to take the same scorecards again, and he shows the improvements. So he goes back to them and he says, hey, look, it used to be 22% of people. Now it's only 8% of people. We've had a massive improvement in that. It used to be 44% of people said this negative thing. Now only 16% of people say the negative thing. So he's able to go through and actually say before and after. What the net effect of that is that he gets rolled through organizations. So he'll do a project with 40 people, and then because of he can quantify exactly how he improved that organization, they book him for another 40 people and another 40 people and another 40 people. So he ends up rolling through these large organizations, doing these change programs with them. But it's all based upon the data that he collects through ScoreApp.
I get that. We were thinking about scorecard when we were doing exactly this question, you know, how to do the assessment. My question is rather in terms of promoting the 2 programs. So there's one big program, which is like 12 weeks, but then we have a smaller one based on a pain point.
Yeah.
How would you do a waiting list for the?
Yeah, you could definitely do a waiting list. In 2024, we're launching a fast employee wellness program that only takes 4 weeks. If you're interested in that, it's affordable, it's fun, it's engaging, it's backed by evidence and science. If you're interested in that, register for the waitlist and we'll send you through all the information when it's finished, when it's ready.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, super easy first step. The corporate doesn't have to commit to much time or money. They just register that they're interested, and then then you send them through the like really nice PDF documents and stuff like that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Annie.
Hey, Daniel. Thank you for this. It's always interesting to listen to you. My question is about discussion groups. I'm planning to launch one in beginning of February. But what is your experience with managing such a group? Because I know from other people that it can become a chatterbox that at the end nobody has a great benefit, and the time that you invest in it. What is the best blueprint to manage something like this?
If you're worried about that, then I would do a 7-day pop-up. So what you do is you essentially say in January, let's say you were starting it now, you'd say in mid-January, we're going to be doing a discussion group about how to get the most out of, you know, the year ahead or something like that. Or from January 1 to January 7, we're going to be doing a discussion group to launch the year. It's a 7-day pop-up to start off the year on the right foot. If you're interested in joining, register and we'll let you know. And then you try and get as many people in it. And then if it's a terrible decision, it's only a terrible decision that lasts a week.
All right.
Yeah. But look, here's the thing, Annie, the reality is that clients and customers are always going to be a pain in the ass. They're always going to involve lots of care, love, and attention. You just have to get used to that with business. They're gonna want to talk to you. One of the best, most efficient ways to use your time is to put everyone in a discussion group, because they'll help each other, and they'll talk each other. So as soon as you know that you're onto a winner, launch a discussion group as a way of building community. You cannot get around the fact that customers want to talk to you. If they love you, if they want to talk, that's business. Business would be so much easier if customers didn't exist, but unfortunately, they're kind of a key component.
No, absolutely. I'm not afraid of that. I'm more afraid that I'm one person. I cannot answer everything instantly. And the negative feedback.
You're only one person as long as you decide that you're one person. It's very easy to enroll someone to be a community manager for that group and put them on £30 a day to dedicate half an hour to making sure that it's cleaned up. Phenomenal teams in the Philippines of people who are community managers for discussion groups. I'm talking long term, not when you launch it.
Yeah.
Long term, you can bring in an assistant whose only job is to manage the discussion group. And you're probably talking about £15 a day for them to do a couple of hours to keep it cleaned out. So, in business, the team is as big as you say it is. And you can't manufacture more time for yourself. But you can bring in more team. Once you've got 100 people on the team, you've got 800 hours a day going into the business. So the goal is to have a few people who come in and help you and support you. I think a business really becomes fun when you get about a 4-person team together. For anyone who wants a really fun lifestyle business, aim to have about 3 or 4 people who are working alongside you, helping you with things like sales and community management and looking after clients and all those kind of things. Little bit of team dynamic adds so much fun to the business. Jasmine.
Hi, how you doing? I really enjoyed it so far, and I'm laughing so hard about what you said about customers. We love our customers, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, so I am from a recruitment company, and we're also about to launch a HR company. And yeah, I work with an entrepreneur, just like you, Daniel, has a lot of businesses. But I'm really interested in, well, everything, to be honest. But the discussion groups, like, how do you keep them active? Do you know, like, find sometimes you're in, yeah.
So I really recommend, if you're launching something new, start with a waitlist, right? If you're launching a HR solution, make sure that you launch the waitlist. In conjunction with the waitlist, invite people to a 1-month discussion group. If you choose at the end of the month to continue it on for another 3 months because people are loving it, then let people know we're actually just going to keep this open for another 90 days.
Okay, cool.
And then you could even open it up for the rest of the year. So you just simply say, we're launching a HR solution, join the waitlist. By the way, to learn more about your HR needs, we're launching a WhatsApp group where we can discuss the key issues that you're facing with HR issues. Every day we'll be making some recommendations for content. We'll be doing Q&A with an expert, and it'll be a 30-day pop-up where we discuss the key issues around HR. And then either A, launch the product and then close the group, or B, launch the product and keep the group.
Cool. So you're saying, like, to keep it kind of flowing, you do maybe tips every day or a Q&A. How do you do a Q&A on WhatsApp? Would that just be a video Q&A?
People submit their questions, and you can either answer them in text, or you could have a guest expert who records a video about those sorts of things. So if you're a more established business, and you've got an entrepreneur who's got multiple businesses, find yourself an expert, someone who's got a big brand attached. We've got the ex-head of HR for Google who's going to do a Q&A session once a week. Pay them £1,500 to do the videos, and then rock and roll. You've got a special, legendary person who's going to come in and do a video once a week to answer all your questions.
Cool. That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Daniel. Really appreciate it.
Nice. Okay. Any other questions? Looks like we're good, and we are right up there on 11:30. So I hope that's been useful for you. If you don't mind, let me know in the chat what's been the one biggest idea that you've taken away from this session, or the biggest action step that you're definitely going to do. That would be super, super cool. Fantastic. A good spread between waitlist, discussion groups, webinars. assessments, get a scorecard going. Fantastic. Use the AI. Check out the way AI. By the way, once you've collected data, the AI writes press releases, it writes email campaigns, it does social media posts. It's all built into the platform. As I said, if you haven't done so already, get yourself an account with ScoreApp. There'll be an email in your inbox with the information to do that. You can start with a free account. You can get a really good special deal on the first 3 months because of this Black Friday special that we've got. And away you go. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. Please let us know how you're going with these campaigns. We'd love to see your results. I'd love to know. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn or on Twitter or any of those platforms. Feel free to update the group in the ScoreApp Facebook group. And we'd love to, and if you've got ongoing questions, you can put them in there as well. We'd love to keep in touch. Oh, by the way, I'm running this event again. I'm doing a replay again this afternoon. So if you're sitting there thinking, hey, I wish someone should have been on this webinar, there's another session at 3 p.m. UK time, 3 till 4 p.m. UK time. Probably will go half an hour over again. But I'm going to run this session again this afternoon as well. So feel free to share the information. It's just, Rebecca's just put it into the link there. So you can put it on social media. You could say, I just attended a good workshop with Daniel Priestley. If you're interested, it's on this afternoon again. And you can do a nice little post and I'll love you and you'll be on my Christmas list. All right, you'll be on all of those sorts of things. All right, cheers, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. All the best. Bye.